Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this week's weekly webinar series from Boundary Systems. This week, we're going to take a look at Creo Parametric 5.0 and show you what's new in the software. All right, so quickly, we'll just go through a quick agenda here, give you an introduction to Boundary Systems, and then we're going to talk a little bit about Creo Parametric 5.0 and show you some of the enhancements that are available, talk about some of the new additions to the extensions, and some additional extensions that are now available as well. Then we'll jump into the software, take a look at some of the technical demonstration portion of this, and the conversation with a Q&A, and we'll go from there. All right, so real quickly, my name is Aaron Spicer, Boundary Systems Technical Specialist. I've been utilizing the PTC products for 20 plus years, and I'm also a certified trainer, consultant for the software, as well as implementing the software as well. A little bit about Boundary Systems. Boundary Systems is a technology leader. We're partnered with companies including PTC, Solid Thinking, eTraj, ZWCAD, and other technology companies as well. We're number 16 fastest growing private company in Greater Cleveland. Our capabilities include product lifecycle management, data management, CAD design and consulting, simulation, and product development. And as you can see from the list here, we've got quite a broad selection of customers that do currently work with us. If your name is not currently up on this list, we'd love to work with you and figure out how we can get your name added to this list. A little bit more about Boundary Systems. We're industry awarded. We have several, including the Inc. 5000 and a Weatherhead 100 company. Major accreditations for our company: we are a WINDCHILL certified implementer, we're PTC preferred service provider, and we're also a PTC certified training partner. Again, here's a list of some of the solutions that are offered from Boundary Systems, including PTC, Solid Thinking, eTraj, Moldex 3D, Mentor Graphics Flow EFD, and ZWCAD. Contact information. If you'd like to reach out to the support team, engineering support, you can reach us at support@boundarysys.com. Sales questions, anything relating to any of the items that we may show you today where I'm not talking specifically about pricing, feel free to reach out to our sales staff at sales@boundarysys.com. All right, so Creo 5. So Creo 5 released about 10 days ago, or just over 2 weeks ago, I think now. And what we're looking at here is just we're going to go through some slides. Now, bear with me. There's quite a few different slides. I think my slide deck's about 60 slides. I won't put you guys through all of the pain and misery of those, but it's real important to show you some of the enhancements that have come along. They've put quite a few different enhancements into the software. We just want to make sure that you've all seen everything that's going on here. Before we jump into this, let me start off with a quick poll for you. If you take a look at my polls here, I wanted to take a look at what version of Creo are you currently using. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to launch this. The poll's out right now. If I can get everybody to take a few minutes here to go ahead and just select what version you're on. Kind of see where everybody's at here. Nice. Good to see a lot of you up on Creo 4 right now. That's a fantastic view here. Give you a few more seconds here to populate them. All right, we'll take that. We've got a nice feedback here, so I appreciate that. All right, so it looks like we've got about 50% of you, half of the attendees today are actually using Creo Parametric 4.0. So that'll make some of this conversation go a little bit faster here. And for those of you that are not on 4 or later, some really cool examples of some things moving forward that you'll be interested in as we talk about these. So let's start off with the easiest one here, the installer. So one of the nice things that they've done with the installer here, what I'm most impressed with and what I like the most out of this is the uninstall functionality. Being able to uninstall, and instead of having to go in and select every item that I want to uninstall, individually uninstalling them, I can uninstall all applications and utilities in this new version with the installer pack that's now available. There's also a silent uninstall, new option that's available, so you don't have to watch it go through all of the uninstallation process here as well. There's some good tooltip guides that are now available in this as you go through this, so it makes it a lot easier as you're building or installing the new software now. One thing I want to point out, those of you that have gone to or have not gone to Creo 4 or Creo 5, and you're looking to install the license manager, one of the things that you'll notice in the installation of that license manager now no longer gives you the ability to point out where to install that from. There's a few techniques we've learned. If you're interested in learning about that, again, you can shoot us an email at support@boundarysys.com, and we can help you answer those questions, show you how we figured out how to get around that and install it wherever you like to in that process. Something to keep in mind there. Okay, so usability enhancement. So there's a few things here. We're going to focus mostly on the two items that are listed here, model tree column displays and model tree default filters. I'm going to show these in the demonstration, so we won't spend too much time here. But the ability that we've had now with the model tree displays, there's now the capabilities to quickly collapse those columns without having to go into the process of turning on your tree filters, tree columns, and then filtering everything out. There's quick access to that now, so it's a nice new functionality there. Model tree default filters now. Common filters will be on by default in all modes of Creo. You're going to improve display of features and components in that model tree now. So features while in the assembly, suppress objects in both part and assembly modes, and annotations in both part and assembly mode as well. So talking a little bit more about the simplified search in the model tree here. So simple search will be available in all modes of Creo by default. Active components in the model tree are displayed. So when you see that there, you can see what you're seeing here in the display here. A little window in this area here. And you can see how it's displayed here, showing the components that are readily available. Everything else is grayed out here. And you can see in the tree here for the component search, they're searching for the items. Highlights this bright green color in that model so that it's identifying those components that you're looking for in here as well. Clear indication between active components and the rest of the model tree. It's a dimmed area now, and including the footer as well. Differentiating top and sub-level insert here lines. So top level is a green line, and the sub-level is a blue line in it now. So there's a sub-level line that breaks up and distinguishes on the model tree now. Some mechanism diagnostics, detailed diagnostics and resolution suggestions during mechanism failures now, and also listing these in the model tree, a lot clearer examples of when you can see these things. Show only versus show all except functionality. Two new items that have been added into the mini toolbar. We'll talk about these when we get into the demonstration portion of this, but now the ability to just show only or show all of the except items here. It's a great new tool here, in addition to your capability that was already there with your show and hide icons. This works for components, datum planes, axes, points, and coordinate systems, quilts, and sketched entities as well. Okay, part modeling. A couple enhancements here that we're going to point out. The biggest one that they're going to talk about here is the new capabilities. There's now a new sweep functionality inside of Creo, and it's for doing a volume helical sweep. I'll demonstrate this technique for you, but you've got the ability now. You can turn the drill bits here, as you can see in the images that we've got up on the screen. Some capabilities for creating these volumetric helical sweeps in the process of doing so. Very good with the information that it can provide, and it's very helpful as you're developing these tools and seeing exactly what you need to visibly before you finalize the features or complete the features as you go through it. So we're going to show you two different scenarios here. We're going to show you the screw conveyor scenario, and then we'll show you how you would do this with a typical grinding wheel scenario as well. Round handling and drafts and mirror feature enhancements, two other functionalities. This is really nice in the mirror enhancements. We've got the capabilities here with mirror where we can actually go in. In the past, it was hard. You mirrored something to add additional items to that. Capability wasn't there. Now inside of the mirror features and enhancements, you have a geometry preview during the feature definition. You can add features to the mirror operation now. And you can remove features from a mirror operation. So in the past, you had to delete the mirror, go back and redo the items all over again. Now we can go in, we can reapply the mirror once it's been applied, and we can take care of and eliminate any items or add additional items that we now want to have in that mirror process. Note, it's available only in part mode though. So one step, but it's a nice little step there for them. Rounds and drafts handling now. So adding drafts on a surface and dealing with the rounds automatically. So this is some of the functionality. You could see it if you're utilizing something like the flexible modeling techniques inside of Creo. You'll see this capability is built into it. So this is some overflow from that being capable and the ability being available inside of just basic Creo. Point pattern workflow improvements. So just a new way of having to deal with the point patterns here. Instead of having to initially work with the beginning point in order to determine which points in the pattern you want to turn on or off, you can simply set up using an alternate origin, so that if you need to turn off the point at the beginning of that origin, you don't have to redefine the point elements as you go through that. So an auto detection of typical alternate origin situations, improved UI and graphics interaction for alternate origin options. Sketch regions. So you can quickly create geometry with selected sketch-based features, eliminate the need to perform project and trim operations within Sketcher now, and enhance Sketcher usability. So glyphs indicating dimension types, fully display dimension previews while dragging them now, and dimension value changes on no longer triggers refit by default. So this was one of the big things. We would double click on an item, change that item, and then if we had a very complex sketch that was zoomed in on something, typically when you'd hit the number, one of the dimensions would change. It would refit the entire screen. That no longer happens, and you can turn that with the config option on and off. If you're fine with it, you can leave it to the yes, but I'm one person that definitely had an issue with that in the past, and so this is a nice addition here to have the no by default, so I don't have to worry about that. A couple more enhancements. Enhanced mini toolbars. So intuitive, easy to learn, and easy to use workflows. For those of you that have not been in Creo 4, when we select on items, you can see over here in the image here, when we select on this chamfer, we get this little mini toolbar that pops up. Usually identify the items in the model tree, edit the dimension, edit the definition, edit the references, and suppress that item if we want. Get the ability to edit the chamfer, remove that chamfer from there, and solidify features if you need to as well. So they've got the menu all built on the functionality of what you're grabbing here and displaying exactly what you need to get quick interactive help on those features. So a lot of this right-clicking that we were used to in the past, all of those that have had that ingrained into our DNA of right-clicking and looking for the items that we have now, we're going to get a nice selection of these filters that are available by just left selecting something. It takes a little bit to get used to. For those of you that are not familiar with it, it may take a day or two for you to get used to this little item or this little flag that keeps popping up at the end of your icon now. But as I've found, overspending quality time with it and using it in a real-world environment works fantastic, and it makes my work move a lot smoother and a lot quicker through my processes here. You can mix up the toolbar. You can change items that are more effective of what you'd want to have displayed in there, and they're grouped accordingly. So you're going to have your edit features, your view abilities, and being able to display things on and off, and the capabilities of additional features. You can customize those and make sure that everything that you're looking for in those instances are readily available. So a new addition here as well, perspective view capabilities. So in the past, when you're trying to render an image or get a view visualization on a part, you'd use a perspective view to get the view orientation you were looking for. You've now got the capabilities to design in perspective modes. So it's an option, again, a configuration option that we would turn on and off. Modernize appearances and graphics. So you got an improved handling display now with your graphics. Text and line display, there's anti-aliasing controls over these now as well. So really working hard to make sure that the best graphics on the screen are readily available to you, and using the hardware in the manner that it's generating all that and not slowing your system down in that process. And enhanced workflow guidance. So you're going to prompt display at the cursor. Clearly visible prompts now. Reduced chance to miss an important bit of information up on the screen. Display control from options panel and configuration options using a display prompt on cursor function. So as you do this, you're going to know exactly what you're looking for. Select an edge with the control keys, as you can see in the window here. So it's going to be giving us the display prompt of what we're looking for, where we need to go, and quickly get us to our item so we can move on to the next section that we're looking for. Improved messages, reviewed by technical publications to provide easy to understand explanations to less experienced users. We don't want people looking at the screen or having to look around and start identifying what is it I'm supposed to look at next. In the past, I used to teach the classes. I'd show them, look up at your dashboards, make sure that if there's a red dashboard panel that's sitting there, you want to select on that. That would indicate that you have some information that's missing, so you can move on to that. Otherwise, you're reading the messages across the bottom of the screen. And again, that could be a bit non-intuitive, and it helps to have these little message windows now become available to us. Some sheet metal enhancements. We'll go over some of these as well. I'm going to skip over a couple of these, but we've got some nice capabilities here. Most importantly, the improved conversion tool capabilities. So quickly convert your solid parts into a sheet metal part, rapidly import from legacy systems and convert them into a sheet metal component. Some enhancements to the FREESTYLE design, aligning to non-G2 chains, align curvature connections, and there's a better import preview capability now. Some fantastic tools with working with this. One of them that I really liked here was the ability for slice mesh by plane. Selecting the mesh, breaking that up, working with just one segment of that, and being able to take that and mirror that geometry over a lot quicker. It's a lot easier to use and work with that methodology now. Also, this enable box creation mode. A lot of the people, when we would discuss this, I would tell them it'd be like working with silly putty. You know, you're pulling and pushing and pulling on this, and you've got the definitive view of what you're looking at. You've got the wireframe around it, I should say. That you could see where you were going, but now you can just simply just go into a box creation mode. Just look at it from a box standpoint, and then just toggle between the two to get your FREESTYLE look versus just the box as you start to pull these shapes out and develop your shape that you're looking for. So there's an improved magnet behavior on add edge. So add edge magnet allows users to snap to additional positions on the edges as well. Okay, so there's been a very big push here. Some of you have not noticed in the industry right now, there's a big push on the MBD, model-based definition. So this is a capability. It's covered under ASME 1441. It's a good place to start and take a look at this. But its basic premise is to eliminate the need for documentation, everything else that goes with a part model as you create it. In this instance here, you're taking the part model and you're using it as the master document along the entire process here. So different methods for taking those combination views, those combination states, and how we can display those. And now some uniformity between them so that this functionality looks pretty similar. If you're doing detailed drawings and you get into this interface here, things look pretty similar on how you're going to attach them. The nice benefit for some of this, though, I just want to point this out to some of you. If you're using different groups that are inspecting your parts, or a manufacturing group or things like that, what's really nice about this, if you have geometric tolerancing or anything else called out on your dimension or on your models here, when you identify them using a semantic query functionality, if I select on a geometric tolerance, it would identify if I have it called out for 6 holes and I select on that tolerance tag, I'd see all 6 holes highlight up on the model, so that helps somebody in inspection to know, we got a bunch of holes on this plate. What holes specifically are we talking about here? So I highlight and I hover over that G-tile, and it'll show me the 6 holes that it's referencing in that process. And we do that by selecting and setting up a semantic query so that we can have those semantics set up and identified in each one of those processes. So more mini toolbar for annotations now. So there was a lot of this right mouse button selection process during this in 4. So in 5, now we're going to see more of this mini toolbar enhancement where we select on the items and we've got some things that we can take advantage of right away. All right, let's move through some of these here. Some more detailing enhancements here. So on the 2D side of this as well, being able to have large assembly performances, Creo 4 introduced a multi-threaded algorithm to speed the hidden line removals. And hidden line removal on a multi-threading was optimized to address large assembly drawings. So I've worked with several of you out there that have had these long, daunting designs where they take quite a bit of time to pull into them. So Creo 5 here, we should hopefully have some enhancements here that should speed that up for you a little bit. Duplicate draft, datum features, symbol checks, cross-hatching config option, and menu updates here, so we can modify some of this information and get all of this set up to begin with. And another nice addition here, now you see more of the mini toolbar, now inside of detail mode as well. Improved redo and undo support here for annotation creation and modifications. Modernization annotations are modernized annotations for dimensions, G-tiles, your datum features, and your datum tags. All right, some more detailing information here. So they've got quite a bit of this. So those of you working with Creo Elements Direct, there's some interoperabilities that are capable now, specifically transferring your Creo Elements Direct configurations to an exploded state or combined state, and associated drawing import improvements as well. WINDCHILL interactions, so hide, revise, and check out, so you no longer need to see those. If you're not checking out items, you're not doing any of that, you can hide those items. A common name functionality, usability improvement for the common name input field. Shows the generated as a value upon new model creation, and it's grayed out for common name input field is specified as not editable by your WINDCHILL object initialization rules. So WINDCHILL and Creo naming alignments, so the Creo name is updated to the file name. Some certifications here for the process or for the product for Creo 5. And specifically, let's take a look at this chart here. Just want to point this out to you guys. This will show you here. So those of you looking, if you're in the WINDCHILL environments and you're going to be using Creo and you want to look at Creo 5, we suggest that you, and the only planned compatibility for 5 right now will be WINDCHILL 11.0. It'll be compatible with Creo 5 F000 and 11 MO30 CPS 06. So that's a quick chart. If anybody needs this chart or would like access to this chart, please let me know and we'll give you access to this. So a couple extension notes here. Let's get into the important ones here. Again, most of the stuff you're going to see is mini toolbar styling. There's some symmetric curve support inside of the style ISDX capabilities now. Some more flip soft point commands, some things around that. So real good look at that. Creo Intelligent Fastener extension. So on the fastener extensions, you now have the ability to add helicoils. So there's an improved library control and a connector element improvement as well. Creo piping and cabling extension. So we're finally starting to see some of this interface move forward here with the Creo stylizations and the Creo UI and interface that we've seen in the past in other products. Now we're starting to see that come along and catch up inside of our piping and cabling. So vertical and horizontal stripes here for full placement control over a stripe creation. Supports Creo schematics. Spool assignments. So spool parameters by color must match the name of the stripe appearance. And if the color is not available, a cable color is default gray by default. Standard libraries. 2 configuration options now for cable stripes and for editing the cable stripes. Removing pipe segments. This is a nice functionality here. Simplified process to route pipes. Optimize the pipe to reduce the manufacturing cost. Flexibility to remove the pipe segments to reduce the overall length. And an automatic fitting rotation along with some automatic connections that are available to you as well. So clearance and creepage extensions here, new user interface for those, right-click options capabilities that are have been embedded and put into this functionality. Improved visibility for the metadata, the electric nets, and the results for those, and simplified analysis setups as well. On the Creo Simulate side, we're seeing an enhancement to the preprocessor here. So it's an ANSYS interface update to version 18. Verification models for the following items here you can see listed, and then there's a Creo Product Insight virtual sensor support that's now available to you inside of the Creo Simulate preprocessor functionality. All right, wrap these up here real quick, guys. We're getting through these. New solver for the engine for Creo Simulate. Post-processor and meshing capabilities here, improved graphics, enhanced component selection and the results. Creo manufacturing, real important. Talking with one of our engineers yesterday who's demoing the manufacturing stuff. And as he termed it, and some of those that know our manufacturing guy, Sean, these things are yummy inside of the Creo manufacturing environment. So he was pretty excited to see this high-speed machining functionality. For those of you that are familiar with this capability inside of Creo, this was some of the functionality that they have now taken out of the old Pro Toolmaker package and functionality, and they've put the high-speed machining functionalities in this for molds and creating mold paths, or inside of your molds and cutting molds here. So improved usability for the tool paths. The highlighting in the preprocessor here so you can see what those tool paths look like. A lot clearer image, and the display of that is a lot easier to visualize and see what's going on. Predefined NC parameters, enhanced roughing tool paths. This is where a lot of that work has been put into this. And tricordial, create tricordial toolpath movements along a curve. And again, modernization of the conventional milling user interface, again, catching everything up to this Creo user interface styling. So additive manufacturing, there's been some improvements here. So improved lattice geometry. Lattice cell types, there's been some additions there for star and truss. Improved simplified representation capabilities. Additional control on the lattice and the link to the simulate functionality as well. Some print extended printer support. So we've got the micro SLA, the ProJet 1200, and some more ProJet MJPs, multi-jet printers here that are added into that. GrabCAD print functionality, materialized build processors for 3D printers, drivers for metal, slicing toolpath calculations, and 3MF import and export for prerequisites to materialize metal build processes in Microsoft 3D printer driver features, which are coming in the future here. So 3D Systems Direct Manufacturing, you can connect directly to the 3ds ODM from Creo now, and you can get immediate quotes. So anybody that's involved with the on-demand portion with 3D Systems, you can get right into the interface here and connect with them right through the interface. Stratasys Direct Manufacturing, same thing, connect directly to the Stratasys team and get your immediate quotes. A couple new solutions I just want to highlight here. This is a really big one for a lot of people out there using Inventor. We now have the ability to bring in, with the Unite technology, Autodesk Inventor files. So you can open and update those files just like we could with some of the other ones. So CATIA, SolidWorks, Unigraphics, you can now do this with the Autodesk Inventor files. And again, some of that technology and capabilities here. So we can open those files now, new in Creo 5.0, the Autodesk Inventor files. And then again, in order to update those, you're going to need a collaboration extension purchase. Again, you're going to reach out to sales@boundarysys.com to help you with that matter. Keyshot Creo Rendering Studio. So the Rendering Studio has been, or the Advanced Rendering Extension, excuse me, was the old terminology. It's now been replaced with the terminology Render Studio Standalone. So new standalone application for advanced rendering, same capability as the Render Studio extension without the modeling environment. It requires a new license for standalone. Easily open and configure your appearances and render scenes to create high quality renderings. You're going to create your screenshot or output a fully rendered image, and you can easily export the data to standalone Keyshot for extended Keyshot capabilities as well. So again, those of you that aren't on 4, you'll notice that when you get into 4 and above, we are now running the Keyshot rendering extension in the background, and it's been we've replaced the old advanced rendering extensions that we've had there. Another new product that we're touting now is the capabilities with our Creo Flow Analysis. So it's a new offering to support computational fluid dynamics, and it's in partnership with Cimetrix or Cimetrix, a technology by design. So just a quick overview here: computational fluid dynamics are powered by Cimetrix. Ease of use, familiar Creo command UI interface makes it easy to get around in the software and get right into the analysis functionality of what you're looking for. And then the last page here is just some of the different packages. There's 3 variants of that package. So we have the Flow Analysis Plus, and a Flow Analysis Premium, offering different phases here of different items and capabilities with that software. Once again, for a full demonstration of these products or any of the products that I've shown you in this demonstration, reach out to sales@boundarysys.com or support@boundarysys.com. We'll schedule a time to come out on site and give you a more full-blown demonstration of any of the capabilities I may have gone through at quite a fast pace here this morning. So, one last thing, again, the mold machining extension, MMX. This is going to give us the module works extension here for Creo mold machining extension. Provides specialized 3-axis high-speed machining capabilities that are optimized to speed mold, die, electrode, and prototype machining. So again, this is the high-speed milling functionality and some of the functions that you can see here. Again, we can give you a full-blown demonstration of this if you'd be interested in that. Again, some of the capabilities and processes that are available to you. And the other thing we want to talk about, Creo topology optimization. So this is coming in a later build here, but the ability to optimize our supports for generative designs using advanced shape optimization technology to automatically create designs solving for specific design criteria, goals, and objectives. So it's in partnership with VR&D. It's a premier software company that develops and markets design optimization tools, services, and training. So again, a basic versus a plus functionality here of what you can do. Some of the enhancements that are available inside of that functionality. Creo Additive Manufacturing Plus extension. So now this is a plus extension for the Additive Manufacturing extension. MX Plus provides 3D printer connectivity, integrated build process framework capabilities, and an automatic generation of the 3D metal printing support structures powered by Materialize. I've taken a look at this functionality, guys, and I just want to point it out to you. This is a great tool. If you're doing metal printing and having the ability to change the patterns of how that's going to be printed out, this is a fantastic tool for adjusting and modifying those tool paths. So once again, let us know if you'd be interested in that. We can set up a demonstration for you and go through this at a more in-depth process here to show you its capabilities and functionality. So a couple other things here, printer connectivity again, seamless connectivity to 70–80% of the 3D metal printing printers that are out there right now. 3D printer management, rapid tray configuration, and the automated generation of the support structures inside of this as well. It's using materialized functionality in the background. GD&T Advisor Plus extension. So Creo GD&T Advisor, this was introduced in Creo 4.0 F000 and is available in the MO30 and above. Does not recognize the Creo generated annotations in GD&T. When Creo GD&T Advisor is started, the user is prompted to delete all non-GD&T Advisor annotations. So that's the background on it. With Creo GD&T Advisor Plus extension, it provides the functionality to reuse the Creo created annotations in GD&T control frames. So taking advantage of those items that have already been created, analyzing them, making sure that they're set up properly, and going through this with the GD&T Advisor to make sure that everything matches and is definitely set up the right way here. All right, so guided creation and some of the capabilities here between a basic versus plus capability here. So the plus, you're getting to reuse the existing annotations and evaluated annotations and provide guidance to fix them to give a given standard. Again, that's a package you'd really want to see a full-blown demonstration on. And again, you can reach out to us and we'd set that up and come out and show that for you, or do it over the web. All right, so enough talking here. We've done enough of this. Let's get in and take a look at some of the functionalities here, guys. And I apologize, just want to start off this. As we go through this, some of the demonstration videos and stuff, they're more in depth on some of these, some of them going 45 minutes to an hour long on some of the topics that they're covering here. So what I've decided to do is just kind of go through and show you some of the capabilities with some of the things that have come into one of the update training guides that we had before. So we're going to start off real quick. I want to show you guys some of the search and the model tree functionality. So I'm going to start off here. And let's go to the interface folder here. I'll set my working directory and set this up. And let's go ahead and take a look at our build here. We're going to go in and we're going to take a look at this drill assembly. Okay, so we're going to focus mostly on the model tree to begin with here. So in the past, what we've had to do is we've come over here to our tree settings and gone into our tree filters, turn on any features that we may be looking for here. All right, getting all those, saving those, and getting everything in there so that we can see everything properly in those. Now, we used to go in here for the tree columns as well, and we could go in here, we can add the feature IDs, add the feature numbers, and then we could set up a few items here. Let's go to the model size as well, and adjust some of the column sizes here for the feature numbers. Let's go with the column size of 4. And then we're going to go ahead and take a look at model size. We're going to change that one as well. All right, so now we've got our trees over here. And again, you'd go into the tree settings, save your settings. You get your CFG file. You could save that out if you wanted to see that all the time. But now the ability to turn these on and off, just coming up in here to the model tree, we can toggle the visibility of the shown columns in the tree. Turn those on and off right away. All right. Again, bear with me. Some of these are, just window dressings, but some of the enhancements they want us to point out, so we'll go through these. All right, the next thing here, we're going to type in, we're going to go over to the model tree here, and we're going to use the search functionality. We're going to take a look at the search here. I'm going to start typing in car, and as I start to type in car, you can see the items highlight here. All right, and specifically, since I'm looking for these elements, it's highlighting everything with car in the name of it. So I've got all my datums, my curves, and my part features too that might be called out here. And I can filter these down if I need to just see what it is exactly that I'm looking for. By default, it does filter those out. We can filter those back and forth over here. All right. So let's close this one out. All right, and I'm going to close my search here. And I just wanted to show you here again. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look for all bolts. And as you can see, as I've got the bolts here, if I right click on it, I've got this capability here. I can show only. So let's take a look at that. So I've got the bolt listed here, and it's only going to show that one bolt that I have listed in that item. All right, so we can go back here again. and we can highlight all of those bolts here. So again, using that capability just a little bit different than you had in the past. Most of the time you're going to use this capability, you're going to come over here and you're going to hide or unhide them, is what we had typically done. Gone through, gotten those off the displays here, but I'm going to go ahead and clear my filter and get those off. All right, let's turn off our data displays here. Okay, so just a quick overview here, the search functionality and the hide and unhide command. Let's close this one out and let's show you another example here. Let's go into the part mode here, and we're going to take a look at this new volume helical sweep tool that's now available. All right, so new working directory we're going to go into here. All right, just turn my data displays on here real quick, and we're going to do a quick volume sweep. So the new volumetric sweep tool that we have here, you're going to go over to the sweep functionality. We're going to hit the pull down here, and we're going to go to volume helical sweep. I'm going to go in, and we're going to start off by going into the references tab here. And I'm going to go ahead and define it. And we're going to use the front datum plane, and we'll sketch it here. Go to our sketch view orientation. You can see already I've got this wrong. Let's go ahead and set that sketch. All right, and I'm going to quickly throw down a profile line here so we can control this. Set my line up. And let's throw some dimensions on here. Go 30 here. And let's set that length to 50. Next up, we're going to go ahead and we're going to sketch in the shape what we're looking for here. And we're going to go to the sketch section and we're going to create and edit it. Okay, so I'm just going to drop in a quick rectangle here. Put a couple fillets onto this. And I'll adjust these these numbers here, match them up. And we'll adjust our heights here. Alright, so we've got our basic overall shape here. And we're going to take a look at the preview. Alright, so we have our preview here, and let's set up a couple numbers here. Let's change our pitch. We're going to go to a 20 pitch onto this. And then I'm going to go to my Control D here and get my default orientation. Turn off my datum displays. Alright, now that we have this, let's take a look at a couple things. Let's show the helix and the orientation of the 3D helix here. And we'll do that by coming over here. We're going to select on this item here. So we can see the helicoil that they're using to go around this. And what I can do is I can come over and I can hover over this, and I can drag this along any point of this to get a preview of that. We'll come up here to the preview portion. And you can see I can get that 3D preview of where that geometry is at and what it looks like in that process. Go here again, and we can see the wheel now. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn off the preview here. Here. And now we can see we've got the wheel here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to adjust this one as well. Let's change this one here for the pitch. Now let's see here. And we're going to adjust this. So if we're wheel grinding this and taking advantage of this, we can tilt this wheel. So let's change this one. Let's start off with the X. Let's tilt it at -20. You can get a preview. So you can see it turns in there. We have a change on this. It's got that wheel now at 20 degrees. Let's change it on the Z axis, and let's give it a value of -3 here. And again, we can see that it's got it set it up in the orientation properly. We can go to a preview of that, see what the geometry looks like. All right, so some neat new functionality there for those of you that are interested or need to do that type of stuff. I've done some screw design before, so this functionality is pretty powerful and pretty exciting to see in the new interface here. All right, next up, let's take a look at let me show you guys next. I mentioned this in the part menu here or in the talk track here, the ability to handle and manage our drafts, or rounds on our drafts. So we'll select a new working directory here, go back up here, and we'll go into the draft component. So again, we're coming into the functionality here, and we're going to add some draft onto this part. So we'll go up here into the tool, we'll use the draft tool. Dealing with those chamfers, we'll set up our references here. And now once again, once we go into the previews, you can see how it maintains and it's handling that geometry now that we're moving that around. So again, kind of the same functionality that you've seen if you've used the flexible modeling techniques. You can see that that functionality is pretty similar to that as well. And again, visualization-wise, UI interface-wise, you can see we have a specific element here that I can easily identify as the item to move my items with, and where my connection point is here for it as well. So no longer are you guessing which one of these handles here that you use to move or drag your items. And especially when you got a cumbersome model that you got a lot of these features you're trying to move through, this identifier makes it a lot easier to see that as you go through this process. So let's go ahead and get out of this. All right. Next up, let's take a quick peek here. They're going to show us on here the inserting helicoils functionality. So those of you that aren't familiar with this functionality, again, part modeling mode, there's a few more enhancements there. We just want to kind of touch on a few of these as we go through this. I want to point out to you as well, if you take a look at your GoToWebinar or the GoToWebinar section here, you should have two handouts that are available to you. I've listed a couple things, what's new in Creo 5, and also a Creo Parametric 5.0 top enhancements. So you can download that, take a look at some of that functionality that's available inside of that, and it kind of goes through that. If anybody would like a copy of the demonstration today, it'll be up on the web tomorrow. You'll be able to go through this and slow it down or take any notes that you need to along the way as well. So next up, let's talk quickly about this new functionality inside of the Intelligent Fastener capabilities now. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go into our assembly folder here, and we'll go into helicoils. And we're going to open up the helicoil assembly. And we're going to insert a helicoil using a datum axis. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on my datum axes here. And while I start this, I want to talk about it a little bit. So most of us have the environment that we're set in right now, we have some form of a library that we use for standard hardware that may be in place. For those of you that are looking for a solution to having a library of catalog components that are available to you, you can take a look at the Intelligent Fastener functionality. Talk with your sales team. I believe this is packaged a little bit different depending on how you have a subscription versus a perpetual license, but it's a great use of a tool here that really is very powerful for developing and showing all of the Intelligent Fastener functionality in here. So we're going to use the ribbon here. We're going to go to our tools. And Intelligent Fastener functionality is over here on the far right-hand side. So we have our ability for screws and dowel pins that we can put in here, and there's a lot of different capabilities we can use inside of this. Again, we've got a full-blown class, an intro class that goes through this stuff, and we do deep dive on this Intelligent Fastener. So if you'd like to learn more, take a look at one of our training courses, and we'd love to teach you more about this. Converting libraries, taking existing libraries and converting it over so you can use the Intelligent Fastener functionality. So what does this do? Let's demonstrate this real quickly for you. We're going to go to the screw icon here, and we're going to go ahead and assemble on a reference icon. We're going to use the datum axis for this. And for this one here, we're going to identify the upper plate portion here. And then we'll select the plate portion on the bottom here. And we've identified where we're basically going to sandwich these different features that we're going to put in, the Intelligent Fasteners. So we'll go here. All right, so we get a basic thread that shows up here, a basic screw. And we have the different catalogs that we can choose from, pull them down. You can see this is a very extensive list that's available to you. And as you change each one of these, that list becomes even more extensive as you go through the process here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to change this, and let's just change some of the items here. We're going to go to a 7984. Bear with me, there's quite a few of them here. Make sure I got my right screw selected. 984, here we go. And then we're going to change the thread size here. Let's go to an M8. And we're going to select on the length here and change the length to 30. And then once we have this, we can set up some items here. So I wanted to show you this as we expand this out and we add more things here. We've got the expander button here. You can add different things. We can add in the nuts and bolts. We can counterbore the holes. We can use a UDF in order to do this. Counterbore the side too to put the elements in here. The other thing that we can do here, we can use an automatic identifier here. So I set this automatic, and now you can see instead of the 30 length here, it's put in a screw that's past the nut. Now again, the intelligence in there is being built around what elements we've checked off in this process. So the nice thing that we like to show here, we'll go ahead and we'll hit the OK button. And you can see we have this group that's over here now, right? And we have the different elements that make up those items. But specifically, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn the view off here so you can see them. We have those holes that are now put in here. But please note, take a look here, and if we look at the features inside of this, we can see here it's an IFX ID for that feature. So it's not an assembly cut feature. It was created at an assembly level, but it put a component level feature cut into that component. And then it's called out and identified the screw threads as necessary and clearance holes where needed to in that instance. All right. So the item that they wanted to demonstrate on this one, let me go back to this. I'll go Control A and go back to my assembly. I'm going to go back and I'm going to edit the definition here. So I'm going to go over here, redefine, and select on my group. So you've got the ability here, and what they have us do next, we're going to put an insert in here. So let's come down here. And where's my inserts? And change the different washers and threadings that can come in here as well. And as you can see, as I add those items in here and I check those items off, they go off of this list here and populate into the window. So I get a 2D preview, and again, the 3D geometry updates with that as well, so I can see exactly what it is that's going on in that instance. So I've got my ISO fastener here, and I've got my size selected here, 7984 8-8. Select the M8, and then off and running. Update that geometry, and then again, we have our preview of the features that are in there as well. And again, helicoils are a capability that have been added into this as well. All right. So kind of wind this down for you guys here. One other thing that we wanted to just show you a quick visualization on. We're going to jump in and take a look at sheet metal functionality for our last preview here. And we're going to go over to the sheet metal functionality. And we're going to go into the flatten representation. So in the past, what we used to do, at least the practice that I had in place, was if I wanted a flat representation, I would basically be going in, creating some sort of a family table component, have a flat state that I would set for that representation, and then when I'm showing that on my drawing view, I could use that. Now, inside of Creo 5, you have a new capability here. So let's open up the right panel. We have our right panel here. And we're going to go to our flat pattern preview. As we go into the flat pattern preview, we're going to select on create representation, which we can do that by coming up here. And you can see the new bound or the boxes that are available here. So we have our create instance. So this has become very powerful now. Not only is it just a visualization tool, but we can create our family table instance here, and we can also create a representation on the fly as well. Let's show you the representation. We'll call it a right panel flat rep and create. Generates the representation. If we go into our simplified reps here, we can see now we have our right panel flat rep. That's available in that preview. All right. So again, guys, kind of inundated you with some enhanced slides and enhancements there, but hope you got some pretty good valuable information inside of that. And one last demonstration I wanted to go through. Just again on the drawing side of this, go back into this first one that we started off with, go back into modeling, and we're going to go into over here, open up the drawing, and as we can see now, A lot of the capabilities of being able to have the mini toolbar now and the capabilities inside of that are now embedded inside of the environment here. And you have the mini toolbar access that you can gain access to. Again, those that aren't familiar with Creo 4, we no longer have to use the right mouse button, go to properties to identify or change elements or items. We now simply just select a dimension and we get the new dashboard interface that changes up here. And then we can implement or modify the dimensions anything we want. Add dimension text in here. We can change the number of decimal places. You want to pick up multiples, change multiples at the same time. You select those by holding the control key, and you still have the ribbon interface that's modified and changed here. We can change everything to a 3-place decimal. This has trailing zeros turned off on the example here, but to show you that that's the capability, that's what we would have set up there. So I want to thank everybody today for taking the time to go through this demonstration with us. Again, it was very quick and fast paced here. I hope you got some information out of this that was valuable to you. If anybody would like a further demonstration on some of the capabilities, please reach out to the staff. You can also email me. My email address is aspicer@boundarysys.com. Send me an email. We can do a more in-depth demonstration and deep dive a little bit further on these products for you. Again, you've got the handouts here that are available. Again, thank you for your time today. And let me just throw this out here. If there's any questions, anybody wants to ask any questions, please feel free to do so. I'll stick around for a few minutes here at the end of the call and answer any questions that anybody may have. So with that said, I'll open up the line to questioning. Anybody have any questions for me at this time? Hey Dave, thanks for joining us today, and no problem with the demonstration there. Thanks for joining us today. Okay, so it doesn't look like we have any questions coming in here, so I would like to thank everybody again for taking the time to come in watch this demonstration. Tomorrow it will be available up on the web if you'd like to come back and review some of the items I've talked about. And again, feel free to reach out at us at support@boundarysys.com or sales@boundarysys.com to enhance your knowledge and help you take advantage of Creo Parametric 5.0. Thank you for your time and have a great day.